Greetings. Today, the moon continues in Capricorn, going into Aquarius later in the afternoon, just before 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're just past third quarter moon, so Thursday night, early Friday morning, depending on your time zone. We had that third quarter Capricorn moon with the sun in Aries as we are heading toward next week's Aries new moon. Mars is now in Aries. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro vibe for Friday, April 10th. So our vibe today is Capricorn. So the mood of the day is that earthy energy, practical, focusing on systems and structures, how to get organized, what kind of foundations we need to support us going forward, doing a little planning. And with this focus on systems and structures, we are in the waning moon phase, so just past third quarter, so in the last now quarter of the moon cycle that began with the Pisces new moon. So we are at that more mature part of the moon cycle. We've been around the block a little bit now in the integrating, processing phase, figuring out what it means for who we are going forward. So kind of a little bit of like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. Let me just put the systems in place. Of course, Mars now in Aries gives us that forward motion. Interestingly, the first planet Mars will have a conjunction with is, now that it's in Aries, is going to be Neptune. And Neptune, ruler of Pisces, we've been talking about Mars going through Pisces as movement, but not so much in the tangible, not so much in the clear sense of focus and direction and purpose, but more in that abstract, connecting to spirit, things that are moving in the intuitive or psychic realm, but not so much yet in the here and now. Anyway, so now, what does it mean that Mars is in Aries, that life force energy of drive, action, movement, whether you are on the right track or not? So that can take us into situations that maybe are not the best choice, right? So when you have that that Mars energy building up inside of you, maybe you're angry, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're just ungrounded, and you get into God forbid, like a motor vehicle or something, and that's not the best recipe, right? It's hopefully everything turns out okay, but as we know, it doesn't always. And also, of course, it doesn't mean you're angry if you had a car accident. But the point is, like, having that energy combined with this setup for things moving quickly, it's just that we want to take the initiative to be clear about what we want, where we're going, what's important to us, before we, for instance, get into a motor vehicle or take some defining action or make a decision. So what does it mean that Mars is in Aries, almost at its exact conjunction with Neptune? Neptune is the planet of spirituality, of dreams, of intuition, going with the flow, guidance and wisdom. Neptune is also that planet of escapism. So it gives us that, it gives us like a way to find an outlet for what it is we crave. And if we are craving unconditional love, spiritual belonging, having our needs met, these really bigger picture things, and we don't have them, sometimes we can reach for the easy fix, the quick fix. And that's where you get Neptune as the planet of addiction and escapism, which we are all human. And so we all have our various experiences and relationships with various forms of escapism. At any rate, so Mars, joining up with Neptune can push our buttons to want to reach for those quick fixes. So we just have to be aware, right? We just have to be aware of where our weaknesses are, where we want things to be easy, bring ourselves back to what is real, what is true, what is important for us in the long run, why we want that, what matters to us. Because also, Mars in Aries joining up with Neptune is a real opportunity. This highest manifestation of this Neptune in Aries energy is to have new beginnings, really like a new mythology, a new guiding principle, a new story for who we are and what happens and how things work. Because Neptune is very mythological. And I was thinking the other day about mythology and our sort of how we have defined, at least when I learned about mythology in school and whatnot. It's like mythology is like, oh, that's the way that people told stories in the past, and that sort of defined your understanding of how life worked, and you had this mythology and it was a story and it wasn't real, but it kind of helped you gain your morals or your guiding principles. Well, what we have now is maybe not so much of that oral tradition, the storytelling of the past, of what I learned in school was mythology, reading about the Greek and Roman myths and the characters that were the gods and all those things. But what we have now is, well, until recently, what we have had is media and movies and books and ways that we tell stories that way. And so when you watch a movie and there's this theme to the movie, whether it's a romance or a mystery or whatever it may be, right? That is mythology, sort of communicating and reinforcing how the world works, how we do things as human beings, what our options are. So anyway, I know I'm getting really abstract here, but the point is that Mars and Neptune coming together can really help us see that mythology and tell those stories in new, more empowering ways. So, for instance, if you're tired of seeing themes of violence in media, how can we tell stories differently, right? How can we talk about creativity? How can we talk about empowerment, healing, love, and not just the superficial romance, like those types of things, but like how love really moves in our lives and how we can be conduits of love moving through us, and how we create and how we engage in the world and in our relationships with others. So I feel like I'm like just getting way out there from where I usually try to focus, but that's probably the Neptune energy, because it really is asking us to reimagine, to imagine a new mythology, to embody a new mythology, to tell the story in a different way, to see ourselves in a different way, to see ourselves as agents of caring, love, healing, unconditional love, interconnectedness, compassion. I would put forth that those are some of the ways we could begin to tell the story instead of this, old Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn energy of, you're just raging against the machine and trying to scramble for power and trying to dominate others. And, let's tell the story in a different way. So if that gets your wheels turning, to think about how you might tell the story differently or think about things differently. Or maybe you're an artist, right? Maybe you're bringing this new mythology in through the way that you do art. Or if you're not an artist, some other way that you create, that you show up. Or maybe you work with people, and how you interact with people can be a new model for how to embody this new mythology of caring and compassion, and how we can each be a conduit of love, which again, love does not mean being nice all the time. Love means helping one another, right? It means healing, it means transformation, it means moving through the hard things and the hard conversations and the courage to be true to who we are. So Neptune is that bigger picture of love, if nothing else, right? It wants us to figure out how to be love in the world, how to move that life force energy of Mars in Aries, bring that into our lives, into how we move in the world, and how we really embody and emerge in this bigger picture of love and spiritual truth. So, thanks for being here. Hope you can join me for next week's chart interpretation workshop. We are filling up fast, so if you are interested, you may want to go grab your spot. It's going to be on Thursday, April 16th. Great opportunity for brand new in astrology beginners, healers, intuitives, activists, artists. You are my people. You are the people I love to support. And so this workshop will help you see your chart from a new perspective, or if this is your first introduction to your chart, to see what it has for you. It'll be fun, and hopefully you can be there. So the link for that workshop, $38 one time, next Thursday, April 16th. The link is in the description for this video. You can also find it at transformationalastrology.com. Thanks for being here and for hitting the subscribe button. If you are enjoying these videos, sharing them with a friend, I appreciate you, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.